I'll never forget the day Patricia Henderson, our self-proclaimed neighborhood queen and HOA president, showed up on my doorstep with her eyes blazing and a stack of photos flapping in her hand like she was serving a warrant. Without even a hello, she shoved the blurry images in my face, practically vibrating with rage. "Your son did this," she screeched, loud enough for half the neighborhood to hear. "Teenage delinquency is running rampant, and I demand justice." She pointed at the photos, spray-painted fences, vulgar graffiti scrawled across the community park's brick wall. Apparently, several residents claimed they saw my 16-year-old son, Jake, near the park the night it happened. "As HOA president, I'm obligated to take action," she declared, all puffed up and righteous. "He was seen loitering in a black hoodie with a backpack. Suspicious behavior, don't you think?" I leaned against the doorframe, eyeing her starched blazer and glittering HOA badge, like she fancied herself the sheriff of suburbia. I let her rant for another 30 seconds about declining property values and community standards before finally responding in the calmest voice I could manage. "You might want to check the park's security footage, Patricia." For the first time, she faltered, just a flicker of hesitation. But she quickly recovered, storming off with a parting threat. "The HOA board will vote Thursday. I suggest you prepare your son. We're talking a $5,000 fine, mandatory community service, and a permanent HOA record." I didn't even know permanent HOA records were a thing, but I bit my tongue. The gossip spread like wildfire. Patricia had a special talent for whisper campaigns. By Tuesday morning, I was getting odd looks from neighbors during my jog. By afternoon, Jake came home from school looking crushed. "Mom asked if I did it," he said quietly, slumping into a kitchen chair. "Even she thinks I'm guilty." That was the moment I knew I had to fight back. Jake wasn't that kind of kid. While other teens partied on weekends, he spent hours sketching intricate illustrations or studying for AP exams. To see his name smeared like this by a power-hungry HOA tyrant was infuriating. Wednesday, I reviewed our home security footage. Sure enough, the camera showed Jake walking into the house at 4:30 p.m. Saturday, and he never left again until the next morning when he left for his part-time job at the bookstore. Then it hit me. The park had security cameras too. Patricia herself had pushed for their installation 2 years ago, after some late-night pool house break-ins. I made a few calls. Robert, the park's maintenance supervisor, was more than willing to help. Once I explained the situation, he said he'd already pulled footage for an insurance report. He hadn't heard about Patricia's personal crusade. "Give me an hour," he said. "I'll send you the clips." What I received next nearly made me choke on my coffee. The footage was clear as day. 3 teenagers approached the park wall just after sunset on Saturday. They pulled out spray paint cans from their backpacks and started tagging the brick. The ringleader was laughing and joking as he spray-painted obscenities across the surface. And that ringleader? None other than Bradley Henderson, Patricia's son, joined by 2 of his football buddies. There was no mistaking him. The footage showed his face perfectly. The timestamp? 7:43 p.m., Saturday, exactly when Patricia said Jake had been seen loitering. I watched the clip 3 more times just to be sure. Then I downloaded it to a USB drive and got ready for Thursday night's HOA meeting. The community center was packed. Patricia had clearly worked the rumor mill, and residents were eager to witness what they thought would be my son's public execution. Patricia sat at the head of the table, flanked by her usual board cronies, all wearing matching HOA pins like some sort of suburban mafia. She banged the gavel and rushed through the agenda with barely disguised glee. "As you all know, our beautiful community suffered vandalism last weekend," she said dramatically. "After a thorough investigation, we've identified the likely perpetrator." She pulled out her fuzzy photos and waved a written statement from one of her yes men. "Based on multiple witness accounts and behavioral patterns, we believe Jake Thompson is responsible," she announced. "I move to issue a fine of $7,500 plus 200 hours of community service." Another board member started to second the motion. That's when I stood up. "Excuse me," I said loudly. "I believe the board should review new evidence before voting." Patricia's face twisted. "Mr. Thompson, you'll have your chance to speak during public comment." Actually, Patricia, I said, holding up the USB, you're going to want to see this now. I handed the drive to the board secretary. This footage is from the community park cameras. It shows exactly who vandalized the wall. The room went silent. The secretary plugged the USB into the projector. Within seconds, the video played for all to see. Gasps echoed through the room. There was Bradley Henderson, spray painting profanities on the wall, clear as day. His face, his voice, his football hoodie. Patricia turned ghost white. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. This must be a mistake, she stammered. It's peer pressure. Boys will be boys. Bradley's a good kid. But the damage was done. The crowd, moments ago ready to lynch my son, now turned on Patricia. Questions flew like daggers. How could you accuse an innocent boy? Did you know it was Bradley all along? Were you covering for him? One board member, the same one who nearly seconded the motion against Jake, now moved to fully exonerate my son and issue a formal apology. The vote was unanimous, but it didn't end there. Another board member, clearly smelling blood in the water, moved to fine the Henderson family $10,000 and require them to restore. The motion passed 4-1, with Patricia casting the lone no. Then came the final blow. The treasurer stood. Given tonight's serious breach of judgment, I move to hold a vote of no confidence in our HOA president. The board didn't hesitate. Patricia Henderson, who'd ruled the HOA like a tyrant for 6 long years, was removed unanimously. Her presidency was over. As she sat frozen in shock, the new president was already discussing next steps. The Hendersons will be responsible for all repair costs, estimated at $3,000, in addition to the fine. Failure to pay within 30 days will result in a lien. And Patricia, the new president added, please turn in your HOA keys and access cards by noon tomorrow. Your privileges have been revoked, effective immediately. Patricia stood slowly, her hands trembling as she gathered her papers. $13,000 in fines, her presidency gone, her reputation ruined. The queen of the HOA had fallen, not by rebellion, but by her own arrogance. Brought down by the very cameras she once demanded be installed. And the best part? Jake got a formal apology and a standing ovation from half the neighborhood. Poetic justice never looked so sweet.